Welcome to ComfortTV.channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. My name is Faith Kevin. Thank you for joining us. In the headlines, President Tinubu and other dignitaries to attend Muswen 10th General Assembly in Osun. Ex-Governor Amaechi dismisses claims of secret U.S. meetings. First Lady donates 10,000 sanitary pads to Anambra schoolgirls to promote menstrual dignity and confidence. Enugu monarch calls for documentation of indigenous festivals to strengthen national unity. APC governorship aspirant seeks court order to nullify Ekiti primary. Civil society group rejects planned ban on sachet alcohol, warns of major job losses. On business news, marketers welcome suspension of 15% fuel import levy. Conoil declares 3 Naira 50 kobo final dividend for shareholders. On the foreign scene, EU faces challenges in crafting new Russia sanctions amid focus on Ukraine funding. Rights group warn of deepening repression in Tunisia under President Said. On sports, Nigerian legend hails Benjamin Frederick as Super Eagles key player against Gabon. Pep Guardiola urges fans to support Catalonia-Palestine friendly in Barcelona. President Bola Tinubu, alongside all Southwest governors, Sultan of Sokoto Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar, Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Audu Sule, and other prominent dignitaries, are scheduled to attend the 10th General Assembly of the Muslim Ummah of Southwest Nigeria, Muswen, today, November 16, 2025. The event, hosted by the Osun State Muslim community, will take place at Bola Babalakin Hall, Bogan, Osun State. President Tinubu will serve as the father of the day, while Osun Governor Ademola Adeleke will co-host with his regional counterparts, including governors from Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Ekiti, and Ondo states. Muslim President and Deputy President General South of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCIA Alhaji Razak Oladejo, confirmed that the theme of this year's assembly is Nigeria's economy, any hope for the masses, with Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Audu Sule delivering the keynote address. Alhaji Oladejo also addressed the recent designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern by U.S. President Donald Trump, calling the categorization misplaced and unfortunate and suggesting that it reflected double standards in international diplomacy. He argued that Muslims are among the largest victims of insurgency in Nigeria, pointing to states such as Niger, Kaduna, Adamawa, Borno, Yobe, Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Kwara. The General Assembly is expected to draw large attendance from political, religious, and community leaders across the region, highlighting ongoing dialogue on governance, economic development, and national security challenges. This year's Muswen's gathering promises robust discussions on economic policies, religious harmony, and national unity as participants engage with policymakers and community leaders to address pressing issues affecting the Southwest and the country at large. Former Minister of Transportation and ex-River State Governor Chief Rotimi Amaechi has finally addressed allegations concerning a meeting with American officials during the Goodluck Jonathan administration. Speaking publicly in Abuja, Chief Amaechi dismissed suggestions that opposition leaders sought U.S. intervention against then PDP government under the guise of Christian genocide, describing the claims as false. Chief Amaechi explained that the meeting, which he attended upon invitation, was solely focused on ensuring a peaceful election and preventing unrest, and that no clandestine discussion or plots against former President Jonathan took place. While at the National Conference of Editors, he also raised concerns about the state of journalism in Nigeria, arguing that the press was more fearless during the military era than it is under democracy. He lamented the decline in open criticism of leadership and warned that ethnic loyalty and selective reporting were undermining accountability in both politics and media. The former minister highlighted ongoing challenges in the country, including insecurity and lack of access to legitimate means of livelihood, noting that these systemic failures often push citizens towards illegitimate alternatives. He called for an inclusive Nigeria where people can thrive anywhere without discrimination. Chief Amaechi further emphasized the dangers of rising extremist rhetoric, referencing the influence of radical sympathizers and stressing that the government must act to investigate networks that threaten national security. He urged President Tinubu to ensure that no individual, regardless of influence, is allowed to jeopardize security or exploit the state, cautioning that such behavior could exacerbate ethnic and religious division. This marks a rare and candid public intervention by former Minister Amaechi on both political controversies and broader national issues as he continues to engage in discussions on governance, media ethics and national unity. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has donated 10,000 disposable sanitary pads to schoolgirls in Anambra State as part of the Renewed Hope Initiative's menstrual health program aimed at supporting girls' well-being and reducing school absenteeism. The donation was made during the national launch of the Flow with Confidence initiative, where the First Lady was represented by the wife of the Anambra State Governor, Dr. Soludo. Anambra's allocation forms part of the 370,000 customized sanitary pads being distributed to schoolgirls across all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The initiative, which cost over 2.5 billion naira, is designed to improve menstrual hygiene, reduce stigma, and ensure girls can stay committed to their education without barriers. At the event, menstrual hygiene experts from the State Ministry of Health educated the students on proper hygiene practices, including regular pad changes, hand washing, and safe disposal of used materials. They also emphasized that menstruation is a normal biological process and not a source of shame. Stakeholders at the event highlighted the importance of sustained support for girls, noting that improved menstrual hygiene directly contributes to school attendance and academic performance. Representatives of the Post-Primary School Service Commission expressed appreciation for the initiative, describing it as a major boost to the health and confidence of the girl child. Schoolgirls who received the pad said the support will help reduce the challenges they face during their menstrual cycles and enable them to focus on their studies. Mrs. Soludo also unveiled the Healthy Living Pad Bank portal, designed to ensure continuous access to sanitary pads in schools and to complement the pad banks already established in 300 schools across Anambra State. The traditional ruler of Idem Ani Ogugu, Ancient Kingdom in Nsukka and chairman of the Enugu State Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Majesty Igwe Sam Asadu, has called for the systematic documentation of indigenous festivals as a means of preserving cultural heritage and promoting national cohesion. Igwe Asadu made the call in Nsukka during a public lecture on the role of the Ofala Festival in heritage preservation and nation building. The event, organized by the Department of Archaeology and Heritage Studies, University of Nigeria, Nsukka UNN, formed part of a special museum exhibition commemorating his maiden Ofala festival. The monarch expressed concern over the gradual decline of Igbo cultural practices, noting that the Ofala festival remains a central institution in maintaining ancestral connections, leadership structures, and community identity. He highlighted its significance in reinforcing discipline, shared responsibility, and peaceful coexistence, values he said are essential for national tolerance, harmony, and long-term socio-economic stability. Igwe Asadu praised the department for hosting the exhibition and acknowledged the efforts of scholars who contributed to the initiative. He donated 2 million naira to support the department's activities. A governorship aspirant of the All Progressives Congress APC in Ekiti State, Mrs. Abimbola Olajumoke Olawuni, has approached the Federal High Court in Abuja seeking the nullification of the party's primary election that produced Governor Biodun Oyebanji as its candidate for the forthcoming governorship poll in the suit filed by her counsel, Barrister Abayomi Oluwafemi Olawiyi. Mrs. Olawuni argued that the process leading to the primary was arbitrary, violated the principle of fair hearing, and breached provisions of both the APC Constitution and the Electoral Act 2022. She alleged that despite being a bona fide party member and having purchased the expression of interest and nomination forms, she was unlawfully excluded from participating in the primary. According to her, she was initially cleared to contest, but was later disqualified during the September 24 screening exercise, which she described as irregular and conducted without adherence to statutory and party guidelines. The aspirant is asking the court to set aside her disqualification and restrain the APC from excluding her in the nomination process. She is also seeking an interim injunction to stop the party from conducting or concluding the nomination exercise or forwarding Governor Oyebanji's name to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as its candidate. The case has been assigned to Justice Peter Odolufu for hearing. A civil society organization concerned Citizens for Change (CCC) has criticized the directive by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) and the Senate to enforce a nationwide ban on alcoholic beverages sold in sachets and small bottles below 200 ml by December 2025. At a press briefing in Abuja, the group led by its national coordinator, Comrade Godwin Chukwudi, faulted the decision, describing it as undemocratic and inconsistent with due process. The organization accused NAFDAC's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, and the Senate of pushing the directive without proper engagement with key industry stakeholders or consideration of earlier resolutions reached with the Federal Ministry of Health and the House of Rep. The CCC maintained that the plan contradicts the federal government's economic direction and alleged that the Senate acted solely on NAFDAC's request without giving affected companies the opportunity to present their position. The organization warned that enforcing the ban could trigger significant economic disruption, estimating potential investment losses of over 1.9 trillion naira among indigenous companies. It added that the policy could result in widespread job losses, affecting more than 500,000 direct workers and up to 5 million indirect jobs across the value chain. It also projected a sharp decline in capacity utilization within the manufacturing sector if the ban proceeds. The group noted that the issue had recently been reviewed by the National Stakeholders Committee in October 2025, which endorsed the National Alcohol Policy. According to the CCC, the committee recommended strengthened enforcement strategies, licensing of liquor outlets, and expanded awareness campaigns against underage consumption rather than a blanket ban on sachet alcohol. It dismissed NAFDAC's justification that the products were primarily abused by minors. Comfort TV, the channel news, returns shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is Comfort TV, the channel news. In the world of business, marketers in Nigeria's downstream oil and gas sector have applauded the suspension of the proposed 15% ad valorem import duty on petrol and diesel, saying the levy was unrealistic while the country still depends heavily on imported fuel. The NMDPRA announced the suspension and assured Nigerians of adequate supply, urging operators to avoid hoarding or panic buying. The proposal has sparked heated debate. Supporters saw it as a way to protect local refineries, while critics, including major marketers, warned it would raise pump prices and worsen hardship. The duty originated from FIRS's request aimed at supporting domestic refining, but operators argued the market was not ready. Despite growing output from Dangote refinery, stakeholders said Nigeria has not achieved consistent self-sufficiency. Experts also warned the levy could fuel inflation and create economic distortions. With the tariff now on hold, operators say attention should shift to refinery rehabilitation, stronger data-driven policies, and ensuring stable nationwide supply. Still on business, Conoil PLC has declared a final dividend of 3 naira 50 kobo for every share of 50 kobo payable to shareholders registered as of 21st November 2025. This was disclosed in a corporate filing on the Nigerian Exchange on the 14th November 2025, signed by Acting Company Secretary Lady Oluremi. According to the filing, the dividend for the year ended 31st December 2024 will be paid electronically to shareholders on 23rd December 2025, subject to withholding tax and regulatory approval. The company further stated that shareholders should complete their dividend registration and advise those who have not yet registered to do so promptly by downloading the registrar's e-dividend mandate activation form. Conoil reported a profit before tax of 728 million naira for the third quarter Q3 ended 30 September 2025, a sharp 85.50% year-on-year decline from 5.02 billion naira posted during the same period in 2024. This contributed to a steep 88% year-on-year decline in the 9-month pre-tax profit, which fell to 1.88 billion naira from 15.24 billion naira in the same period last year. According to the unaudited financial results released on November 1, 2025, at the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NGX, revenue also suffered a notable decline. Operating profit fell sharply by 35.8% year-on-year to 1.64 billion naira as margins came under pressure from rising administrative and distribution expenses. Administration costs increased by 24%, mainly due to inflationary pressures and higher staff-related expenses. Finance costs spiked to 2.13 billion naira, a 744% increase year-on-year, following a significant rise in borrowings. Onto the foreign scene, the European Union is considering a new round of sanctions against Russia, but diplomats say a fresh package is unlikely before the end of the year. Brussels is prioritizing long-term funding to Ukraine and renewing all existing sanctions, tasks that must be completed by January and require broad political agreement. EU officials suggest the next sanction proposal may not surface until February 2026, around the 4th anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion. Despite delays, several member states, including Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Germany, Poland, and Sweden have drafted proposals focused on reducing EU imports on Russia. With energy imports already set to be phased out by 2027, the next targets include Russian steel, inorganic chemicals such as ammonia, and calcium phosphate and potassium-based fertilizers. Officials say alternative suppliers exist, reducing the risk of shortages. The EU has already blacklisted over 560 ships, but believes hundreds more are still operating. France is pushing for tougher measures, including limits on how much oil ships can carry, stricter oversight of vessel sales, and stronger rules for dealing with stateless or falsely flagged ships. As discussions continue, the EU aims to further restrict Moscow's revenue streams without destabilizing supply chains or creating energy and agricultural disruptions in Europe. Still on the foreign scene, Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International says civil liberties in Tunisia have sharply deteriorated under President Kais Saied, accusing authorities of escalating a crackdown on opposition figures, activists, and foreign NGOs through arrest, asset freezes, bank restrictions, and suspensions. Tunisia has recently halted the activities of at least 14 local and international NGOs, while 6 staff members of the Tunisian Council for Refugees face criminal charges linked to their work with asylum seekers. Human Rights Watch also flagged the appeal of more than 30 people handed heavy prison sentences at a mass trial earlier this year, calling the case politically motivated and lacking evidence. Several detainees, including prominent opposition figures such as Jawhar Ben Mbarek and Rached Ghannouchi, have launched hunger strikes to protest their imprisonment. Rights groups say the crackdown reflects Tunisia's rapid shift away from the democratic gains of the Arab Spring, urging international partners to pressure Tunisian authorities to restore civil freedoms and ensure fair trials. Onto the world of sports, Nigerian legend Sunday Olise has praised young centre-back Benjamin Frederick as the standout performer in the Super Eagles' 4-1 extra-time win over Gabon in Rabat, even above two-goal hero Victor Osimhen. The semi-final remained tight until late in regulation, with Akol Adams giving Nigeria the lead before Gabon equalized in stoppage time. Extra time saw Chidera Ejuke score his first international goal, followed by Osimhen's brace to seal victory. Olise highlighted 20-year-old Frederick's composure, game reading, and defensive dominance, which kept Gabon stars Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Denis Bonga quiet. Frederick also assisted Osimhen's first goal, earning him the nod as Nigeria's most influential player. Nigeria will face the DR Congo in tonight's playoff final, with the winner advancing to the Intercontinental Playoff in March 2026 for a place in the 2026 World Cup. Still on sports, Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola has called on fans to attend Tuesday's friendly between the Catalonian and Palestine national teams in Barcelona. describing the match as much more than a game and a symbol of solidarity. Coach Guardiola, a native of Catalonia, emphasized that the game represents a collective call for peace and tribute to over 40 Palestinian athletes reportedly killed in Gaza since October 2023. The match will take place at Barcelona's Olympic Stadium and is expected to draw thousands of supporters. The friendly has been organized to promote unity and raise awareness of the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Sports organizations and officials have highlighted the potential of football as a platform to advocate for human dignity and global solidarity. Guardiola urged fans to fill the stadium, framing the game as a moment to honor the lives lost, including 245 football players, among them children and young men. And that's our news bulletin for this morning. Before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. President Tinubu and other dignitaries to attend Muswen 10th General Assembly in Osun. Ex-Governor Amaechi dismisses claims of secret U.S. meetings. First Lady donates 10,000 sanitary pads to Anambra schoolgirls to promote menstrual dignity and confidence. Enugu Monarch calls for documentation of indigenous festivals to strengthen national unity. APC governorship aspirant seeks court orders to nullify Ekiti primary. Civil society group rejects planned ban on sachet alcohol, warns of major job losses. On business, marketers welcome suspension of 15% fuel import levy. On the foreign scene, EU faces challenges in crafting new Russia sanctions amid focus on Ukraine funding. And on sports, Nigerian legend hails Benjamin Frederick as Super Eagles key player against Gabon. Thanks for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel on all platforms. Remember to like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss on future updates. My name is Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.